Alright, so check it out. Finna chop it up with y'all real quick. For those of you all who are trying to get off the first level of the game, here's the keys. You're gonna need to be a coder. You're gonna need to learn how to read codes. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need to be proficient in symbolism. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna need to do it quick because you ain't got time like that. This is for those who are trying to do so. This ain't for the ones who are complacent with being ignorant, because like you already know, ignorance is bliss. So a lot of these words that are tossed around and used are acronyms. An acronym is when you take each letter of a word and it makes words from each letter. So like Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. What is the basic instructions before leaving Earth? How to ascend. It's an ascension book, a book how to activate. You know what I'm saying? When you put that into perspective, you got people who come here and leave here and never activated. When you put that in perspective, like, at what point were you supposed to activate? Were you supposed to live your entire existence in activation? A good portion of it? It's a lot to be asked, a lot to unpack with that. How does that track? You keep going. You go to the next. Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. Man. Master, able, and noble. Islam. I, self, Lord, and master. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? Alright, bet. Once you can get your mind wrapped around that, then you gotta get your mind wrapped around the two hemispheres of your brain are extremely important. One hemisphere is Mars. The other hemisphere is Venus. And you gotta like bounce back and forth or bridge the two hemispheres of the brain, right? How do you do that? The Venus is your fasting, meditation, spiritual work. Yeah, Mars is all of your actualities, what's actually going on in the realm, what actually happened, what went down, right? So the Venus would be the feminine principle. The masculine would be the Mars, or Mars would be the masculine principle. Right. Okay, so you gotta bounce back and forth. 1 minute you over here doing this, next minute you over there doing that. So you gotta figure out what went down on the realm, what happened in the realm that you're in, right? And you find the answers of that by tracing back what happened throughout history. And the only way you're going to get an honest, not necessarily answer, but an honest perspective is if you incorporate all of the teachings from each cultures, because each culture has a missing piece to the puzzle. You get what I'm putting down? They're all fragmented, right? So what you want is the 360, the full circle, or the knowledge, or all the knowledge, right? A good way to get that, or to try to get that, is you take the symbol of any religion. Like, a lot of people be like, you can't get rid of the book, is where I was going with that. I was finna say something else, but where I was getting to was you can't get rid of the book. Once you come into, this information and stuff like that, you try, or a lot of people will try to get rid of the book, or tell people, this religion isn't, they'll attack the religion, but the religion is hard code. It's in every household. The symbols are symbols of yourself, or symbols that point you back to self. So your subconscious is going to take that program and is not going to try to remove it. So you can't remove the book. So what you want to do is take the religion that you grew up with and place it inside of the circle. Whatever symbol that is, or a symbol that the religion has, place it inside of the circle, and it'll let you know how many sectors the full knowledge was broken into, right? Let's take Christianity, right? It's a cross. If you put it in a circle, it breaks the circle into 4 pieces. That means that it's all of the knowledge is just broken into 4 pieces. So you would just reverse engineer it so you can get back to self. Getting off the first level, you're gonna have to realize, how do I put this? Words change over time. Names for things change over time, right? The heavens is a word that was used to describe that which was above, as well as spaces and places that weren't accessible to those which were on land, or earthbound, groundbound, right? So you got the heavens, which is above, and the heavens that are under the waters. Next piece would be genealogy, figuring out where the fuck you at, because where you think you are is not where you are on all levels. Oh, I'm on planet Earth. No, you're not. Oh, I'm alive. No, you're not. Oh, I'm in America. I just told you that names for things change over time. No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? There was individuals who felt that it was necessary to rewrite everything. Those same individuals were individuals who got their hands on some information that wasn't privy to them, right? These individuals had mercenaries. The mercenaries had spiritual practices that after a while, these individuals was like, what y'all doing? What's to that? And they managed to get their ways into these schools start learning the information. Once they started learning the information, they realized and learned that the information had nothing to do with them. In fact, everything that it was talking about accessing things that they had no access to. It was inaccessible to them. So they hid the knowledge and then were giving out orders to figure out how the realm was created. And they did. When they figured that out or found that out, they found out about a cone language that was used to communicate with the if world. Right? You might not call it by that name, or we may not call it by that name, because I told you that names change over time. Just like, you remember when Morpheus was like, you think that that's air you're breathing? Again, Neo never answered that question. If he did, he probably would have said, then what is it? Or he would have said no. Just by the fact of the way Morpheus asked the question was rhetorical. Meaning that either he didn't have the answer or the answer that Neo believed was the answer wasn't the answer. So there's a lot of things that you're going to believe is the answer that's not really the answer, that you're going to need someone who's actually been there to tell you the answer, or you're going to have to get there yourself to know the answer. But the answer is no, it's not air you're breathing. Do you want to know what you're breathing? I can tell you the answer to that. The name changed over time. A lot of what's been happening and going on was disconnecting. A lot of words that start with D, divide, disassociate, disconnect, dissemble, dismiss, dissolve, divide. I think I said that. But it's not a full circle. It's half of a circle. A D is half of a circle. It's half of an O. Right? Realizing what's going on and how you were detached would allow you to reconnect back to the answer. It's not air you're breathing, it's prana. Prana is also chi. Chi is also life force. All of these words are the same thing. So when people be like, oh, I'm doing chi work, chi gong, or I'm trying to build up my chi, or I'm practicing working with the prana, all of those, like when you're coming into spirituality, you see these words or you come into these words and then you're like disassociated again. You like, okay, well, where is prana? How do I, am I really doing it? You've been doing it the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's like for the lack of knowledge. people perish. Not just people, his people, right? It's an ascension book, Sun book, Holy Bible, Sun book, Sun biblios, Sun pages from the Sun people. Holy means Helios. Helios means sun. Bible means biblios. Biblios means book. It's a sun book. Solar heliognostic. Knowledge of the sun. Light. Light knowledge. Light codes. Shit like that. But yeah, you want to get back connected. You know what I'm saying? For instance, people think that individuals use canes and shit like that because they were getting old or to help them walk better. No, it was for grounding. Why do you think that the tips on each end were metal and the staff itself or the cane itself was made out of wood? Now you go try to get one today, you're going to have rubber at the bottom and rubber at the top. Why? Because rubber stops electricity. That's why it's in your shoes. You're disconnected. You know what I'm saying? Interesting fact. Reptiles are cold-blooded, right? So if there was a such thing as reptilians, they probably wouldn't chill out on the surface like that. You know what I'm saying? Or they would probably have to terraform a planet, making it colder than it's supposed to be so they can exist, right? Why am I bringing that up? What the fuck does that have to do with the shit I was just talking about? It's very important. It has everything to do with the shit I was just talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because if you follow that train of thought, then you'll realize that, you know what I'm saying, 9 times out of 10, reptilians are probably cold-blooded, right? And then you hear these things about, you know, different species living in the middle of, or underground, or there's worlds within this world, right? But interesting fact, if you follow that train of thought and go back into antiquity, doing your due diligence, your own research, you will find that a lot of those individuals were said to be and or known to be residing in caverns and shit like that, lower dwellings and shit like that. And the area is always depicted as being areas that are surrounded by lava or around lava. You get where I'm going with this? If you are, then you're going to get to level 2 real quick once you get off the first level. You know what I'm saying? Level 2 going to be a breeze for you. For sure, for sure. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying, slightly difficult than level 1, but you got keys. Keys open doors. You get a master key, boy, you can open up any fucking door. Shit like that. What's a master key? Hold on a second. Let me grab this motherfucker. I think I'm going to end the video on this note, though. Keys open doors. There's a reason why Satan or Lucifer is said to be or reside in hell. And if you're an intelligent individual and passed tests, or a great test taker, pattern recognizer, shit like that, then you just realized a whole lot of shit. And I'm proud of you for that realization, as well as I'm proud of you for making it to the end of this video. Yeah. Whole time, folks is a reptilian. That's some wild shit, ain't it? If you like what we do, and would like to donate, feel free to do so. Links in the description below. Later days.